What do you do at 4 o'clock in the morning when you went to bed at midnight and woke up at 2:30 with insomnia and can't go back to sleep? Well, you watch YouTube videos and survival shelter building, police investigations into murders, whatever other kind of stuff I'm interested in at the time. I like those murder investigations. I like seeing people getting arrested for that crap. Do some janky crap, your ass ought to go to jail or the death penalty. Just saying. It shouldn't take forever for that to go through either. But anyway, you also sit and think about things and reflect on things. And 3 years ago this month, the old boss at the pawn shop, Ed, when it was still Fast Pawn, we had a conversation about customers being a little bit wary or leery about buying used weapons because some people don't exactly take good care of stuff. No disrespect, maybe they just don't know, maybe they don't have the time, I don't know, whatever the case may be. So some folks are a little bit leery about buying used weapons, so the idea came up of, let's take out the used weapons, take them out to the range and field test them. Just a quick function test, a few rounds, make sure they function properly. Do it on video. Put it on a screen, play them on a screen at the shop so people can see it. Better yet, put them on YouTube. Hey, I got a YouTube channel. Started it originally for sharing caving videos with some of my cave exploring buddies. And tried my hand at doing survival videos, but yeah. Since then, Brian and I have done the useful plants and etc., and that's actually been pretty good. And I wouldn't mind doing some other survival stuff, maybe in time. But anyway, so the whole thing started 3 years ago this month with Roger and I testing a Kel-Tec Sub 2000 9mm folding carbine. That kicked it off. And a little while later, I met up with Brian. Started shooting with Brian and dealing with his goofiness. And Brian came up with the idea of creating the QR codes to go on the stickers, go on the price stickers, the price labels and stuff on the guns at work, so people could scan it with their phones, go straight to the videos. Damn good idea. QR codes are pretty cool. And then we met up with Gary. An interesting story about Gary. Gary and Roger don't live too far from each other. And for years, we've been having recoil conversations with each other across the blocks. Had no idea who we was recoil chatting with. And we would pew pew and listen off in the distance, and you'd hear it pew pew, and then we go pew pew pew, and they would pew 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 back at us, and then we get to talking with Gary and talking about the videos, and he says, "Man, me and a bunch of guys, we do some shooting. You ought to come out and shoot with us sometime." I'm like, all right. I had no idea. Let me rephrase that. I had no idea how much these guys loved shooting before I got there. I pulled up, back seat full of gun cases, about a dozen guns. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna show up. These guys are gonna have maybe a dozen guns themselves. 3.5 tables full end to end, pistols, shotguns, rifles, ARs. Leaned up against the shed, leaned up against the tree. I got to add several new calibers to my bullet board, and it was a good day. So, reflecting back on all of that, I had to mention a few things. Some things that kind of stuck out in my head. Let me get rid of this commercial. Back to my survival video that I'm kind of half-ass watching. We've tested 260 plus different brand model weapons. We've done over 470 individual tests. Now that does count multiple copies of a particular model. So like an AR-15, we've done dozens of AR-15s. But you know, you get a Diamondback, you get an ATI, etc. I tried to keep an accurate count of the different brands, the models for each brand, how many different weapons of that model we've tested, and it's 260 plus different weapons and 470 plus different models, different builds tested. Out of all of those, these are the ones, either the model or the caliber, that sticks out in my mind as some of the ones that I really enjoyed. The Beretta Gardone. It's a bolt rifle, and supposedly a Gardone was used to assassinate former President Kennedy. That's a piece of history. It's a piece of history. Yeah, it's got a dark tie to it, but still a piece of history. So that's actually pretty cool. Got to shoot some history. It wasn't the only historical weapon we've shot. We've shot several Mausers and some other stuff, and some pretty cool stuff. The big Kahuna Firearms Raptor 50 that Gary got. I always wanted to shoot 50 BMG, and it was a pleasure to do that. Wasn't nowhere near as bad on the shoulders I thought it was going to be, but it's a thumper. The Henry U.S. Survival Rifle. That was a pretty sweet little piece. Little takedown and everything goes into the stock. Kind of sorry I let go of that one. I might get another one of those sometime in the future. As much as Roger and a couple of the other guys are going to, at least one of the other guys is going to pick on me for this. Maybe some other people are going to pick on me for this. But the High Point YC9 Gen 5, the first few times I shot High Points, they were the older models, and they were janky. But you can't argue with High Points. Lifetime guarantee, no questions asked. $200 gun, and you can freaking lifetime. And the Gen 5s are some upgrades, so I may get me another one of those in the future. 4570 government round. It's just such a sweet round. It is. It's just a sweet round. Getting to own for a while. Getting to make sure it stayed in the family. And getting to shoot and share Dad's old FR8, Mauser FR8 in 308. That was pretty cool. That was one that Dad had for years, and I never paid much attention to it at that time. I didn't really care about guns. I wish I had before Dad had passed on. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Getting to shoot 458 SOCOM for the first time. Lamont let us borrow a couple of his guns, and that was one of them, a PSA, Palmetto State Arms, PA-15, chambered in 458 SOCOM, and I gotta say I had no idea that little mutant round was gonna be so fun. It's a mutant 45, and it's yeah. 338 Lapua. I was impressed with that one. I was impressed with that one. Binary triggers are fun. Force reset triggers are fun. And getting to take in, transfer, see a finished build, actually shoot a finished build, and get some pretty cool slow motion of a finished build of a Tennessee Arms translucent AR-15 lower. transferred a few for a local guy who does some builds and stuff, and then ended up transferring a couple to Gary. He built some pretty sweet 22s out of them, and then transferred one to somebody else who built a 308 out of it. And from what I understand, it's holding up pretty good. So 308 translucent plastic lower, but it's pretty cool that you can see through it. You get to see the trigger mechanisms and all that stuff. There have been a lot of fun shoots in between, in between all that. A lot of fun shoots. Got to do some things for the first time I'd never done before, trying to hit a golf ball at 300 yards, trying to hit any part of a political yard sign at 500 yards. Never shooting that far before. That was pretty cool. Tannerite's pretty fun. Finally got to do something for sister that she'd been wanting us to do, and Tannerite Teddy Ruxpin. Yeah, I know some people are going to say, yeah, that is a collectible toy. You know what? The entertainment value for us was worth way more. If you had to work in the store when that thing first came out and had to listen to that thing every 10, 15 minutes from kids pushing the try me button on it, you'd want to destroy that thing too. Oh, another commercial. I may be talking too long. Anyway, so a couple of downers. I was kind of disappointed in the affordable Behrman Derringers. They just ended up being janky as crap. I was disappointed in the overpressure basketball shoot. There was a few other things that I was disappointed in too, but those are the main two. Those Behrmans, they were really affordable, and I was hoping they were going to work out, but man, they turned out to be total downers. But anyway, another downer is stuff we haven't gotten to yet. Some of it we may be getting to soon, like the double shot can launcher. We may be trying that pretty soon. I'm personally a little disappointed in how that thing turned out, but we'll see. We'll see what it does when we actually field test it sometime soon. We've talked for the last 3 years about building a catapult. Never have gotten around to that. Doing some pumpkin chunking. We hadn't gotten around to that. After doing some shoots and seeing the effects of different calibers on watermelons and pumpkins, I do still think that building the catapult would be a blast. Pumpkin chunking would be a blast. But the idea of doing pumpkin skeet, launching pumpkins with the catapult and then shooting it with shotguns before they hit the ground. Interesting challenge. But the pumpkins just don't splatter all that well. Watermelons, on the other hand, especially that GMO crap seedless junk. Yeah. Oh, and Firebirds. Firebirds are pretty cool. Glad Gary introduced us to Firebirds. Which reminds me, we'll be doing Firebirds really soon. So basically, this was just me doing some reflecting over the last 3 years of Pew Pew at 4 in the morning when I should be sleeping. No fancy editing on this one, just raw. To Roger, Gary, Brian, Lamont, Troy, Steve, the other Steve, a few others that have joined us over the last 3 years. Thanks for pew-pewing with us. It's been really cool. And I look forward to 4 more years, or 3 more years, and 5 more years, and I don't know, who knows. Some changes are coming. Some are good, some are not so good. Changes are changes. You can't do nothing about it. It happens. Things happen, and with the state of the world the way it is, it's hard to pinpoint all the different things that could cause these changes, but there's changes coming. Announcements will be coming about what these changes are soon. Can't say any more about that right now because it's not official. But yeah, changes are coming, and don't know exactly what direction these things are going to lead, but I have no plans to change Pew Pew. I have plans to keep Pew Pew going, one form or another, for as long as the guys want to continue doing it. And yeah, the YouTube channel might be mine, the Rumble channel might be mine, but it belongs to the four of us. Roger, Gary, Brian, and myself. It belongs to all four of us. And the guest shooters, we appreciate them jumping in from time to time. Some of my regulars, the regulars. It'd be nice if they did it some more, but if it ends up just being the four of us all the time, that's cool too. Quick shout out to a couple of landowners who have let us use their property a couple times. Even if the last video, the skeet shooting, didn't turn out all that great because the cameras didn't capture the skeets very well. Thanks for letting us pew pew on your property. See you on the range. Pew pew.